A screen subnet, previously known as a Demilitarized Zone or DMZ, allows you to expose an organization's services to the internet while protecting your internal network. If you want to give outside users access to email servers or web servers, a screen subnet is a great solution because it provides a separate network that is outside of your secure network. Say you manage networks for a small company that provides a software application for their customers to download. This software can be accessed through the customer portal on your website. The website is hosted on an in-house web server. The server resides in the company's internal network. If customers are going to access this web server and download the software, the server needs to be exposed to the internet. Even if you had a perimeter firewall in place, you'd still need to open ports for the downloads. This would be a security risk for the entire internal network. Your first thought may be to just move the web server outside of the protected network. However, that would be on the other side of the perimeter firewall. Because the web server is outside the firewall, you have no control over what happens to it. Every hacker on the internet would be able to access this web server very easily and run all types of exploits on it. So, what should you do? Well, this would be a great time to use a screen subnet. You can create the subnet using one or two firewalls. Basically, you divide the network into two or more zones of different levels of security. The first zone is accessible by customers on the internet while still maintaining some level of security. This is your screen network and where you'd put your web server. The second zone, your internal network, is not accessible by customers and has a high level of security. If you plan to use two firewalls, first you need to open ports 80 and 443 on the firewall located in the low security portion of the network. This will let internet users access the web server. The web server will be located in the low security area directly behind the firewall. There is still risk in having this information on the web server. Somebody could break in and, for example, replace one of the software downloads with a modified version that has a virus in it. Because the web server is in the screen subnet, you are aware of that risk and monitor it. To maintain the security of the rest of your network, you install a second firewall between your low security screen subnet and your internal network. By doing this, you create a zone of high security for your internal network. When configuring your firewall, you would allow traffic originating in the secured internal network into the screen subnet and through to the internet. You can also create a screen subnet using a single firewall. In this scenario, there is one firewall with two network interfaces and therefore two network connections. One interface connects to the internal high security network. The second connects to a separate isolated network segment. Each will be configured differently depending on the network segment that it connects to. Like our previous example, the internal network should have high security rules. The segment that houses your web server should be configured with lower security rules, such as allowing traffic through ports 80 and 443. That's it for this lesson. In this lesson, we discussed a screen subnet. We talked about setting up a screen subnet using two firewalls or a single firewall with multiple interfaces installed.